fellow tribe. Here's your friendly neighborhood Tiger, and my wonderful co-host, Divine. We are here today to bring you our chaos and mayhem and lots of love. And we have two wonderful guests today. Divine, would you like to tell us who we've brought today?
Hi, yeah. Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you for tuning in. Yes, today we've got two very great artists and one very inspirational one. She's with us already. Her name is Kledia Studios, and later on we're gonna have iconDark in our midst. Hello, Kledia. Thank you for being here.
So nice to be here. Thank you.
Before we dive into that, let's go with our disclaimer. This show is not for children. Please take your children, duct tape them to the wall in another room, plug their ears, because we do curse and we do talk about sensitive things on this show. We are an adult show, so please, bear with that. And anything we say or do here is solely our fault, the moderators and our guests, and has nothing to do with our parent platform, MSP Waves. It is all our fault. There we go. So, Kledia, you are a performance artist and you do wonderful things. Would you like to tell us a bit about what you do?
Sure. Yeah. So, I come from actually a more like oil painting background and installation. And when I was in college, I got into actually a little bit before that in high school, I got into Olympic weightlifting, and I couldn't understand how, I happened to be on a YouTube video and I couldn't understand how this woman like was able to get hundreds of pounds of weight over her head in 1.2 seconds. And so over the years, I've been really interested in investigating and melting the medium of Olympic weightlifting with my artwork and performances and video work. And yeah, the live component, though, I have to say, is the most important part of my work, is because you're able to see me fail in real time, and you're just really a part of that experience genuinely as much as I am. And I don't know how far back we want to go, but I've always been inspired by art since I was a child. I was born in Albania, and there was a time when we had to be inside and I couldn't go to school, and basically I painted like these mythological characters with like government characters that I would collage together. And yeah, here we are. I mean, I can I don't want to ramble too much, so you let me know when I am.
You're absolutely fine. So,
Yeah, you're fine.
one of the first clips that you brought us is from one of your installations called It's a Family Practice. So I'm going to play that for a minute for our audience. If you want to see the visuals, please go to mspwaves.com. That's where you'll be able to see it. So would you like to tell us who these fine people are?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the screen yet, but I can definitely tell you about that video. And I brought them out to that landscape, and at the end, my mom got up and she tried to like lift my dad, and then my dad got up and we were all able to lift the barbell together. And so it was kind of really comedic because then we danced around. And I put such a short clip on there. You're welcome to see it on my website. I can type it in. It's klediaspiro.com. But it was really about like that we can really, there's people in our lives that we're always trying to somewhat lift up, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like your parents, right? But there's someone there, and I feel that it's so important that we don't when when if they need us, that it's not a burden to lift them up. It's really a celebration, and that's what I wanted to make sure that the audience got out of it, is that um I am trying to lift my parents up as a celebration of their sacrifices for me and for like their life in Albania, which is where I was born. um and that, like, I want to celebrate their life, and that everything that they've done is something that I think about on the daily. So really, that's the thesis of my work, is that who are we trying to lift up in our lives, and how can we as a community lift each other up instead of trying to do it ourselves? Because I can be really strong, physically speaking, but I can't do it alone, and no one can do it alone. And so, without getting like overly sentimental, I think that I also tried, especially in that video, like comedic relief was really important, so that it didn't become this like weighty, no pun intended, topic, right? And so, um, yeah, that piece was really important to me. It was the only piece that I've included all my immediate family members in. Um, that title is indicative of that. And it was kind of crazy. It was a 10-degree day, and it was reminiscent of like our culture, and how can we keep traditions but also adapt them, so that we're moving forward and we're not held back by some of the problems that maybe a culture has, but
Yeah.
it's still really beautiful to uphold part of that history too. And yeah, so that's kind of the background on that one.
Yeah, you also said that in your TED talk, which I'm just going to put up there right now, which I really really loved, that you got into weightlifting because the sounds reminded you
Mm.
of the bullets that were
Yes.
flying around your
Yes.
head, when you were a kid. So like
Yes.
that's why I also incorporated bullets in your portrait, by the way.
Oh my God, I love that. I was
Yeah,
wondering. I was just like, oh, I wonder if she. It's funny because I didn't know at the time that you had seen my TED talk, but
yeah,
yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That, I think, was such a big instigator for my work, is to be trapped essentially in a hallway. Like, my parents wouldn't let me stay. So basically, there was a civil war, and my dad like closed the schools, and because he was in charge of that sort of system, and basically like they were like, oh, you can't stay in your room because your neighbor upstairs got a bullet through their window. And so like I'd have to stay in the hallway, and that's where I drew, like, and painted so much. Like, I had such a huge portfolio from that time. Like, one of the first modes of communication, right? Like art, or like movement in general. And so um yeah, that's a really important part of my background that I carry with me.
yeah. I would imagine that really, gets to you. Right now, I'm showing it, actually, the visuals. I don't know if you can see it. Is one of your performances in. Uh, would you like to tell us what you're doing right there? Yeah.
frankly a male dominated society.
Absolutely.
It's like, when is it time for you to stop and think, I'm actually putting this weight, right, this expectation on this woman, like, what am I actually doing in this performance? Like, why am I partaking um in this action? And so it's like, is it sort of because the first person does it and you just feel you have to pay respect to the performance, or is it because you inherently do dismiss the female figure there? And I don't know. I mean, from what I can say from my performances is that there's a big basically a trajectory of action that happens when one person takes that first step of, it could be somewhat derogatory in any way, and many people follow, even if they're so well and indicted in the performance sphere. So it was really a stab at trying to get at how can we come further than this in women rights, right? Like um but also like that it's okay to feel like powerful and own your body and your um who you are, your femininity, if you will, but like, on your terms, right? So that was
Right.
that performance. I know we passed through some other works, and I can definitely touch on those too.
Yeah, we have actually another one that you brought us today, which is that 3D representation that you did of your home called Take
Yeah.
My Home. So let me
Yes.
fire up that one. Oops. Here we go. It's taking a bit.
And but it's okay, because this one that's playing right now was at La Petite Versailles in New York, and I was like lifting wellness magazines, health
Yeah.
and wellness. So trying to get, like, again, that we're so, like, women have to be a very particular way to fit in society. But Take My Home is a very recent piece that Darren Cole isn't here, but this really incredible friend of mine and collaborator helped me get this vision together. And basically, I wanted to get 3D scans of my home with my parents and my sister inside, while the outside of the house was kind of playing in the fragmented aspects that happens in 3D scans, right? And it's a very vulnerable move to have someone literally like step in your home, especially if you have these 3D scans. You can really get up and close to the spaces. And but this is what it's like this is often what an immigrant home is like. Everything is precious, and it's like it's hard to let go of things, because you never know when you might lose it again. And so, but a lot of these artworks too on the walls are mine, and so it was basically a view into my home, but also the street that I live in and the socioeconomic status that kind of you're not trapped in, but like that you kind of get introduced to, no matter where you come from, because you have to kind of start back at zero, which is a really scary thought if you're in your 50s. Like my parents
Yeah.
came here when they were so much older, and I just cannot imagine doing something like that, leaving your whole life behind, leaving, like,
Well, yeah.
if you have great careers, like leaving your every single thing that you've ever done and known, just leaving it behind for your kids. And it's just like, and this is all you have, is this like apartment like 20 years later. um and so to me, it's like heartwarming and heartbreaking almost at the same time, just like push and pull, because I just like see that immense sacrifice, and I just like never want to take it for granted. But I also think it's so amazing that other people can now experience my home and like feel like, that they can be part of it too. And it really came out of the pandemic and what we were feeling during that time. And if we happen to be alone, um that maybe, you didn't have to feel that way. But it was certainly a piece that like it was hard to make, in terms of like conceptually, but also just emotionally too.
Well, it was
Very
definitely.
intimate. I love that it's the first thing you see. You welcome people in your home when you go to her website. KlediaSpiro.com. It's very beautiful. I wanted to say I grew up with like 3 immigrants from Albania,
Oh my gosh.
Nejmia and Nejmuddin, and yes, so I know. I as a child I could not understand that something that could happen, and like leaving all your toys and stuff behind, and so I was very
Yes.
touched knowing your background and what you developed into, and it's I've been crying here the whole time.
Oh my
Really.
gosh. Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
There
Thank
she goes
you.
again, making us cry.
I know.
Oh my
Wow, thank
goodness.
you. Yeah, and I just like my hope is that it makes you cry and then it makes you like hopefully I don't know, kind of happy, right? In a weird way, like kind of grateful.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of you too. So,
Oh,
and yeah,
thank
yes,
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh.
All right.
Yeah.
On another note, everyone out there knows I'm Russian. We're not allowed to cry. We only cry at funerals. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're like Klingons, That's just it doesn't happen. So as everybody knows out there, we have an NFT of our guest. So, Kledia, what do they have to put into the audience to win this NFT?
Oh my god. I've been thinking about this for so long. Okay. So I would love to see actually a zebra would be amazing with like a weightlifting belt and some really great heels and a wonderful hat.
Okay.
Kind of crown like.
So the first person who can find a zebra in high heels with a hat and a weightlifting belt will win this NFT. Okay, you guys are going to start to have to get creative here. So,
it could be a drawing, it could be anything. Yeah. But
yeah.
It includes those elements.
Yeah. Hat, zebra, heels, weightlifting belt. Go.
Yes.
Okay, and so while they do that, I am going to go right to your I should have stuck to ballet. This is your new installation, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
correct, yes.
so we're gonna play this. Hang on.
Oh my god. That was so quick.
Oh, did someone do it?
Yeah.
Okay, zebra. Wait a minute. Zebra hat, weightlifting. Oh, she's doing it all once. That doesn't count. It's supposed to be together, no? Or is she doing it all at once?
Yeah. I didn't see the weightlifting belt on there.
No, the weightlifting belt is underneath, so. Hang on.
Wait. Is this video going to have sound?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it down a little bit in a minute. Okay. I think that's just my usual chaos. So apparently she did, bloody does count, she says. She said, well, okay, for it to count, Skyline, you better get those heels, because I don't see any heels yet. I see a zebra, I see a hat, I see a weightlifting belt. Where are the heels? If somebody else gets the whole, if somebody else gets the whole thing together before you put in those heels. Okay, she got the heels. Okay, she got it. Skyline got it. Okay, we're gonna be good about this.
Rule breaker too, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a gray zone, and you just caught us. Congratulations, sweetheart. So cute.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry I threw all those elements out there, but I had to make it fun.
Yeah,
it was.
It was. All right, so. Okay, so let's go back, and I'm going to turn down the sound a little bit, though, because it was a little loud. Yeah, actually, we're going to turn the sound off, and then just... Okay, here we go. Now there's the 10-second delay, as everybody knows.
Oh, I see.
So I'm going to play it now. See.
Awesome. And I think Oli's in the audience, and she's the one that composed this music for this piece. So
she did. Okay, Oli.
Do a huge shout out to that.
Absolutely, yes. I love Oli.
Yes, me too.
Oli is such a sweet.
Hi, Oli. By the way, welcome.
Yeah.
Show. Happy here.
Yeah, she was here the last time a while back. She was actually on our show before. And at the moment, I'm actually working on a collaboration with her and Engine Witty. So once we have that, so once we have that together.
Oli has been, like, I don't want to talk over too much, so let me know what.
You're fine.
But like, I just want to say it was such a huge pleasure to work with her. Like, I basically told her, I have this exhibition coming up. This is my vision. This is what I'm thinking, and she just whipped this up like, within a week, and then she got me an extended version for the performance. So it's just been a great process, and we're gonna have future collaborations. So I'm super excited that we got to work
bring
together.
them here, please, guys.
Yeah.
Lovely to have you both.
We're
Absolutely
doing a huge brainstorming session next week, so I'll have to tell you about it at some point.
She's such a wonderful person,
and she has a great voice too.
And so and
huge, amazing voice.
Yeah.
Literally on my Spotify, like at 24/7. I have to say. But
cool.
Did you want me to like talk about the performance
a little bit, or absolutely, absolutely?
Let it play
well, no, we're playing it while we're talking. So like, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll start with that. The main exhibition is called Amazons Among Us, and for this exhibition, I wanted to have a live performance component, and I wanted to bring ballet dancers into the medium, because I think that they're also like genre of dance that is so well known in the sort of extreme of like body expectations and like what they go through in that medium. And basically, just as a metaphor, that I wanted to be able to like lift them up in these chairs that I created for my parents, right? And a big part of the show is that in the exhibition, there's a video of me in this wearable sculpture that I created with these chains, and I like liberate myself from the chains, and I let them go in this lake. And in this performance, I wanted to be able to do both. I wanted to be able to like Olympic lift with the weights, with the weight of society, with the weight of that we put on ourselves, like all the expectations that we put on ourselves as women. But then to be able to ask for help is so hard, right? And for people to give genuine help can be just as hard. And so I finally had the ballet dancers unchain part of me, and part of me I unchained myself, as you'll see. And in the choreography, I kind of go in and out, of them trying to unchain me. And it was such an important process to be for them to also see the vision that we we have this ability, if we work together, that we can liberate each other. Because there's a lot of from what I've seen too, like we are usually in this like male dominated society, but often I think women compete with women in an unhealthy way sometimes, and it can be so empowering if we empower each other, right? Like, imagine
that was exactly what I saw into that. Was like, when I first saw it, that was exactly the image that I had. Like, when women work together, then we free each other, like know, and that's exactly the sentiment that I got from it. So you did amazingly well in portraying that.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that. And yeah, exactly. Like, we can move mountains literally if we work together. And we're so powerful. Our intuition is to be celebrated. Like, there's just so much about us that, like, the heightened awareness, like that, I think we can create a cascading effect of of empowerment for one another, and that's how like that leads to more equality. And so that's what this piece is really about. And then like as you'll see, I try to like lift one of the dancers myself, and I like kind of lift them, then I lift both of them with the help of two other ballet dancers. but the music, I want to go back to the lyrics of the song, because we didn't touch on that. The it's kind of hard to hear some of the lyrics, but they are so pivotal. They're not hard to hear, I think, during the um like the actual song, but I titled the video piece that's playing in the gallery "No More Mrs. Nice Guy," but in the lyrics it says, "It's high time I get mine. Good night. All this work, no reward, is making me a monster. Messing with the wrong woman, thinking you can hide your hand, didn't rise from fires of hell being an angel. How about you pay your debt?" And so basically, no, it also like pays an ode to women getting paid the right amount, especially that's a conversation in the US that continues to happen. And I just think it's so important that basically in the lyrics too, it says, like how that it says, "I don't want no nemesis. Do my business like I please. Do you think I work for free? Do you think I got no enemies?" Right? And so often I think we like make ourselves so small. I know I've done it. I know it's like, how do we like become people pleasers, and not, it's like we make these excuses, and
We're
in the
raised that
performance.
way. Women are raised that
Yeah,
way to be
yeah, we're
people
conditioned that way,
pleasers.
right?
Yeah.
It's like we're conditioned to apologize overtly,
Yeah,
and
And smile.
we're conditioned to all kinds of stuff. I mean, I remember my mother, who is not the nicest of people, but one of her friends who was an ambassador was touching me inappropriately, and I remember her saying to me, "Don't make a fuss. This is just what happens." you
oh
know
my god.
and so
Wow.
and that mentality of, as a woman, you have to just endure that shit,
Oh
and
no, no, yeah,
so um and then it
So
actually
fucked up.
being a
Go ahead.
fuss. I know that, but that's making a fuss if you actually speak up and say,
I'm
"Get your
sorry
grubby fucking hands off me,"
oh,
I'm
but
sorry
that's
that you had to live
it,
through
it
me
that.
is
too.
it is what it is. She's done far worse. But that being said, it's just this mentality. But she grew up with that stuff too, and she went through some of that.
It
I mean,
comes from somewhere, yeah.
Right.
as bad as she was, and a lot of the things that she has done that I'm not going to go into, she went through her own stuff too. Like, a lot of men ran after her when she was young, and I guess she went through that too and thought that that was what was needed to be done. So there's
Right.
that.
Right.
By the
And so
way,
like,
what
oh
I
no,
did want to
sorry.
say, no, it's fine. I just want to say, Ollie, if you have that song on file anywhere, throw it in the audience room, and we can play it, and then we can play it in a minute. So just,
It's the song in the video too. Like, that's the song.
yeah, but the video, the thing with the videos is the sound quality isn't that great. So I was gonna just
Yeah.
throw it in after you and
Look,
just
and another
play it.
strong woman just joined. Hi, Raven.
Hi, Raven. Yeah, see, we're all kinds of crazy here, but we all love each other, and it's so great that that we have you here now too, Kledia, because
Oh, thank you.
absolutely, we're a crazy family here.
I love that. I love that so much. And yeah, I'm so glad that it like resonated with you. I know that people honestly um reached out to me after the performance, like days after, telling me they got so emotional during the performance, and that they felt like for the first time they were almost like seen. Um and that some people don't have the privilege of other women helping them up, right? And so um I just like the amount of people that it touched and how emotional they were. That's like what I really do this for, is like, to get at this space that sometimes we um it's hard to grapple with those feelings sometimes, and to kind of come out on the other side, right? Like, be emotional but be happy at the same time, is kind of what I was saying before. It's
Yeah,
like to have both, I think, is so rare, because we connote this like negativity with sadness, but it actually can be super healing.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, and so
It
like to
is.
have people literally feel like they're healing as they're watching the performance, there's like no other reward better than that for me.
And you know, this crying, I grew up being like this hard ass, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
people like, you never smile. I'm like, huh? I smile on
Like,
the
I don't want to
inside.
smile. Yeah.
Like I smile on the inside.
But you
You know,
smile.
And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and now I mean, I went through cancer twice, you know, and I
Wow.
just had bad experiences in my life, and I'm like, no, this is not going to define me anymore. And
Yes.
I let it out. I was ashamed to cry, you know. I am actually somebody. I watched like all British crimies, right?
Oh
Mystery,
my
murder
gosh.
mystery, and just like the backstories in it, they're so very well written, you know. And I was I get now I cry, and I'm like, why not? And I live with somebody who's like the most wonderful person, you know. Jeff, I love you. He's in the audience. Yeah, he's just so accepting and understanding. Where like he doesn't. My ex-husband was like, "What are you crying? What?" And made me feel stupid. I'm like,
Oh.
I worked through a lot of my own stuff watching these things, right? And not only watching it blindly, watching it like letting this hit me. No, I watch things or listen to things and a lot of go through my own story and what you know connected to that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it emotionally hit me, and yeah, I'm free to do this. So I do cry when I see or like have somebody like you on our show, you know, with their background, and you're so inspirational and uplifting, you know, pun intended. And it touches me because it's a beautiful thing, you know, coming from where you come from and the fear you had overcome to
Mhm.
be here now and make it, you didn't only overcome it, you're working with it, you know, and you're being like a light in the dark for other women
Oh,
going through that. So, and I think that's just very beautiful.
thank you so much. And I thank you for sharing like part of your story too, because it's really inspiring to me. And I want to say that just a quick bit about the smile part is like in my show I have a piece called Smile, and it's like me underwater, like just trying to get out of the underwater, right? And then I called it Smile because we were always told to smile. And then people ask me,
Absolutely.
why'd you call it, smile with the exclamation point, like as a command. And it's like, because we don't have we don't have to smile. Why are we told to smile so often, right? And it's like, can we get out of these boxes that we've created? Like, we've literally as a society created like, this is what a woman's supposed to be like and act like. And I get it that maybe once upon a time it had its place, right? Like, I don't know, like it arose from some social etiquette in the classism aspect of society. But I think we've come so much further, and I think there's still a lot of work to do. But just the fact that we're talking about it hopefully is bringing some awareness to people that might not even sometimes realize like the harm that they could cause by saying something like that, right? So
Well, it's it's
yeah, I
it's
just wanted to
it's
point that out.
it's about power. What it is,
Hmm.
it's about power. Because, like, look, I mean, classically, at some point we were matriarchy, and then as soon as those, religions came up that were male dominant, that's when basically, women started to be boxed in. And it progressed and whatever. And it's like, then women were taught to look outside of themselves. It's like,
Mm.
never seek strength out of yourself. You seek to have children. You seek to have a
Mm.
husband. You seek to be pleasing, of course, to get that said husband, and all that stuff. And we're now just discovering that, no, we don't need the husband. We don't need this. It's nice to have on the side, but it's not something that we need to be ourselves. We are
Hmm.
self-sufficient. And that's
Yes.
the shift there, where we're slowly but surely digging ourselves out of that muck, I guess. now I now I'm rambling. There you go.
No, no. It's and like, I just think that, like I said, just even bringing these topics up is so important, right? Like, and this is how change starts, right? And yeah, hopefully we're on our way to a more equal society.
So what's up next? So right now, this is your installation. Do you have any plans after? I should have stuck with ballet.
Yeah, so I have a second live performance called She's a Beast, um, with ballet dancers again, on June 4th, um, in Boston, Massachusetts. and I'm gonna make that kind of late at like 8:45 p.m. Yeah, I don't know how much more to say about it. There's gonna be a sort of a similar yet different plot line, and in the aspect of what the chaining part, and like the visibility of people actually chaining each other, and what it takes to go on the other side, and and like forgive too. So like the people that are actually chaining you at the end, like what does that mean for our own liberation, like forgiving those, and just helping unchain each other even though like harm was done. So it's kind of about that, but also like how people look at, I picked the title She's a Beast because in my view, like if someone calls me a beast, like especially in the way, like I get so flattered. Like it's so funny. Like that's like the biggest compliment to me. It's so funny. Like if someone calls you a beast in the weightlifting world, you're like, oh my God, I've like accomplished something. You're like, oh my God, you're a
Absolutely.
beast. Like you're so strong. You're a fucking beast. But like if someone calls you a beast, like in any other context and you're a woman, that's like, seen as like the worst thing ever. And so I wanted to play with that because it's like, again, why do we have such vernacular around women,
Yeah.
and
I
what's
I also think
appropriate and not?
I also think it's a cultural thing and a language thing, because like it
In
depends.
German,
In yeah, it's
Totally.
bestie. Is bestie in
Beast,
Germany?
yeah.
Bestie. It's definitely not something, to be the beast. I'm the strong beast. It's like
And you would say that. I would hear that from my mom.
du bist eine Bestie. Ja.
Du bist ein Biest. Nein, du bist so ein Biest.
Ach, ein Beast. Da gibt's Beast auch. Beast and Bestie. Those are two different things, actually. So, Beast in German is more, you're a bitch. And Bestie, which is also beast, is then beast in the form of being the monster. But I don't think that there's anything in German like that would be beast and being, the strong whatever, which in the English language you have. So there's that,
No, the semantics are like so important culturally too.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
but like
language is
just
amazing.
the notion, yeah, and like that's what I love getting at too, is like, how far are we willing, like what effort are we willing to make to understand another culture? Because like the minimal effort people make isn't gonna cut it, right? And like, so when I have things like titled in Albanian, right, like you really kind of have to know the culture to fully understand. And it's
Yeah.
like, I think that's just so important to know that language is a big part of culture. And
Well,
like
it's also
in
there are words that don't exist in different languages.
Exactly.
I speak a few, and like there's some languages that have like for one thing 10 words, and the other one has barely one, and it's like, and you can't express exactly what you're thinking because it has a different feel. Like German is a philosophical language. It's a hard language, but it breaks down philosophy and science really well, which and then then you have French, which is more like a poetic language where poetry and written word can become very beautiful, and English is more the jack of all trades. It's like
Yes.
it's not perfect in everything, but it's easy to use in all kinds of things. So it's like, it's like that,
Yeah. No, exactly. And but like like you said, there's something to be said about the different meanings of a word that may be like almost international, right? Like beast, or that notion of beast is almost sort of this like international notion. And like what does that say? Like how is it feminine versus like masculine and all those things, right? Because a lot of languages have a feminine like words versus masculine, and just like even
Yeah.
thinking through that, I think is important to consider.
I mean, the Japanese even go further. They actually have certain words that are not even ever touched by men, and vice versa. So
Wow.
yeah. So they have like Divine can tell you more about that, but literally like words and sayings that are done, that are like segregated by gender. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just I do tap into like the semantics and language a lot too, like in this other series of my work that I guess I can tell you about, that I don't know where I'm going to show yet, but in my basically the bumper plates that make up like the weight for the barbell. I had taken my grandfather. He wrote 4 books at the age of 85 to 95. So talk about inspirational, and they were about World War II and like family life. And I took excerpts from those, and I put them on my bumper plates with wax. So I like hand wrote them, and I put them on the bumper plate. And like basically every time I would do a performance with the bumper plates, you know, some of these words would fall out. So this new literature was being written as I was doing the performances. And I thought it was going to be this very, very long process until they all fell out, because, they wouldn't fall out at like large bits. It'd be like maybe 5, 6 words at a time. And what happened during quarantine is that I started using this barbell that I used only in my performances and bumper plates. I started using it functionally almost every day. And so these words were just peeling off every single day. And now I have this like new, like the bumper plates are almost completely clean of these words. My point is, it's like it's created this new literature, poem that I'm gonna basically put together at some point. And it's like we can kind of come up with new language as we go too, and we do, right? Just like by the expressions we come up with, that are like pertinent to contemporary society that they didn't have back then.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Like, the word dude, like the word dude came up during the Victorian age. During the time of Beau Brummel, and what it actually meant was, it was these guys that were like Beau Brummel was known for fashion. He was like the typical metrosexual guy, and basically known for being like very much on point with his hair and clothes and whatnot, right. And they were called dudes, and now we use it completely different, but so it evolved out of that, and now even it includes now women at this point, so it evolves, so
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times, the youth that changes it, because here,
Yes.
in Germany, when you mix German and English, we call it Dinglish, and because it's Deutsch, German is Deutsch, and it's so present. It's crazy. It drives people crazy that don't know what they're talking about. And
yeah, exactly.
Young people do. They do not want the grown-ups to know what they're talking about. So a new language develops, and it's crazy.
Yeah, and so it's like, what does it mean to create new language out of weightlifting, right? And so that's sort of like a very long-term project of mine that I just have in the periphery that I'm gonna probably continue. But I'm not sure about like the next work. I was thinking about like minting a series of my works. I just don't know which ones yet.
Well, absolutely. And if I don't see her right now, but Julia Ponsford, who's also on here, she's trying to get into a showroom. She already is in Hive. And by the way, dear audience, Kledia just joined Hive yesterday, so she's going to be posting. She doesn't have anything on there yet, but this is her Hive address, so go and follow her.
Awesome.
Because she's going to be showing all her good stuff on there, videos and stories and everything. Yes, Ollie's on Hive too. Ollie's on Hive. So all that. So keep an eye on that and all this. And we were so glad to have you here, love. So please come again.
Thank you so much. Thank
Absolutely. You. We're going to end your segment with Ollie's song. So
yes. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for doing that.
And absolutely, just please come again with anything you want to present us, because you're now part of the family, so you're annexed. You no longer you belong to us. You're a Narsco.
We like to keep track of our family.
I love that. Thank you for making me feel so at home. Like I really
beautiful
did
when these words are beautiful to hear, because we love making people feel at home. And this is like being in our worldly, not bedrooms, sorry, in living room, and just hanging out under friends and talking, and inspiring each other, and crying together and laughing together, and it's thank you.
Oh my gosh. It's really my honor and my privilege to be on here. So thank you for having me. Let me know,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you need anything going forward, but I'll definitely keep you posted, and I'll start putting things on Hive, which I'm super excited to be on. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
All right, so we're going to
Yeah.
go out with your segment. Go out with your segment with Ollie's song, Mrs. Nice Guy.
Yes.
See you soon, my love.
All right. Bye-bye.
We're going to put you in the audience so you can listen to the song.
Perfect.
Okay, here we go. Mrs. Nice Guy. Or not? Is it playing? There we go. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to throw it into iTunes. And this is why we love Ollie.
We love Ollie.
Absolutely.
Amazing track.
Absolutely. Ollie, we love your stuff. By the way, Ollie and Raven, you guys should do something together too. I know I'm dragging Ollie everywhere. She's going to kill me at some point. Okay. So let's bring our next guest in, which is iconDark. You bringing him in, love? There you go. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm live still.
Wasn't she just amazing?
Yeah, she was great.
Wow. Welcome back. Oh, well, we're in a different show now, but I'm happy that you're coming to the new show. I'm happy to have you. What have you been up to lately?
Surviving. Made it through 2020, so there you go. That's an accomplishment right there.
It
But
definitely is.
yeah, but beyond that, just making music. You know, doing the spooky stuff that I'm pretty much always doing. So yeah. Um, I one thing I wanted to say, um, because Hive came up on the previous segment. I'm on Hive as well, but I'm kind of new to Hive, but kind of not because I was on Steam because you probably
Right.
both of you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
remember me
It
from
just
Steam.
Right,
mirrored.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's
but
weird
I
that
kind of
our
yeah
community is here. The community that was over there is now here. It just moved. With
yeah.
like, yeah.
That right when Steam right when the whole fork happened with I guess it was Tron or something like that.
Yeah.
I was done with it at that point.
Yeah, a lot of us were very,
Yeah.
very turned off and
Yeah, and so Hive kind of spun off. Well, not kind of. It spun off of it, and so I didn't even know I had a Hive account for a long time. So I'm like, yeah, all my stuff that was on Steam is on there. But yeah, it's new to me because it's been existing for years without me even knowing it was there. So it was kind of interesting
okay.
to get back into it.
But
But
yeah,
when you
welcome
reached out
back
to
then.
me, yeah,
Yeah, definitely post
Definitely.
us
It's
as
cool to have
well
you back.
because I followed you yesterday because I didn't know that you were on there. I know you actually from Ema. Shout out to
yeah,
Ema. Shout out
Yeah,
to
shout out
yep.
to
Ema.
Shout out to those
Ema.
guys. They're still around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I even have my own naughty corner there. I wonder why I'm.
Gee, I
Oh,
wonder.
nice.
Oh my goodness. So let's see what you brought us in your bag of goodies today. You brought us a song called Necessary Fear Event. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, well, um, for people who haven't heard of me, or, which is like everybody, I make electronic music, and a lot of my stuff is based on UFOs, events, and unsolved mysteries, and things like that. So it's kind of thus the name iconDark, kind of the darker kind of stuff. And the Necessary Fury event, I was listening to one of the podcasts I listened to, and they were talking about like conspiracy theories and things like that, and the concept of a false flag event, which is kind of the definition is either the government or somebody would intentionally plan and and carry out something terrible just to frighten people into doing something. And so I was listening to this guy talk about this, and he wasn't saying that he wasn't putting forth out the idea that these things are real or whatever. He was just basically making fun of people who believe in these kind of things. And he called it kind of jokingly a necessary fear event, because if you take it literally, like this false flag kind of thing, it's basically you're doing something evil that's necessary to scare people to get them to your point of view. So that's where
Absolutely.
the title that's where the title comes from. I'm not saying I believe that kind of thing, but that's where the title comes from. And so when I heard that person say that, and I don't know if they were quoting someone or they made it up themselves, I'm like, huh, that would be an interesting kind of thing to vibe on, to kind of create a song around. And so and most of
No,
my
it does
songs.
not, Skyline. I just wanted to underline that.
Oh
I
yeah,
got vaccinated, by the way, so I'm very.
yeah. No, I
Everybody
don't get into
should,
that stuff.
this is my opinion, this only. So
I do,
Yeah,
I do have like some conspiracy theories. So like however, they're usually
there
not completely
are,
crazy.
yeah,
no, well,
Like like
there is not good things and going on, obviously, but it's
yeah,
not like the thing is we do not have to invent new ones. There's real bad
yeah.
stuff
Real
happening and it's right in
conspiracy
front of
out
our
there.
eyes, but
Yeah,
we don't, why I think this is just a sideshow happening. Don't look over here, look over there.
it's
yeah,
well,
So
it's not only that. Okay, it's born out of that we have unsavory governments. And people are number one
that's
not
true. Number two,
educated. They don't
yeah.
get
yeah,
education. Education is
And
dialed
where does the
down to
news
a
come from? It comes from
well
you
yeah.
now.
It's dialed down to a minimum. so that people stay stupid. People know in their gut, which is true, that their governments are corrupt, so they don't trust them, and they come up with complete with this stuff out of fear because they don't know what's going on. So the problem is the government, and then we have to, of course, root out the stupidity of human beings. But I mean, part of it is also, once again, our government is that it's their responsibility that these people don't know anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, and some of these conspiracy theories are in fact true, but like get to the bigger point, it's not like you have to make up all kinds of fantastical things in order to bring up the idea that the government or some other people are doing things to negatively affect you. Something as simple as planned obsolescence, right? Like you buy something that's made to fail so that you can buy another one. That exists. That's real. So just
absolutely.
stuff like
But
that
I mean,
going on is real.
but you also have to see, like, things like Pizzagate. They come out of they come out of truthful things.
Yes.
Basically, okay, what this was is somebody leaked the shit about Epstein. And and yes, Clinton was on. No. Clinton was on Epstein's island, and so was Prince, whatever his face is, and everyone, and they were all on there. But out of that kernel of truth, suddenly they made Pizzagate. Okay, and said that they were doing that operation in that poor pizza person's place, and they almost shot up the place, and this guy was like, what the hell? So no, they weren't calling to get pizza, but yeah, Epstein did exist, and it took years for that kernel of truth to come, so all these conspiracy theories, there's often just a little bit of truth, and then it goes like, that telephone game. It's this telephone game. It's like, oh, Prince, whatever his face, was on Epstein's island, and then the next person goes, oh, Prince, whatever there was on that island, and he had a baby elephant in his suitcase.
And then every time,
and then it just keeps on getting worse.
Yeah, I mean, it all boils down to like the one conspiracy theory that's true. People in power want to stay in power.
Yeah,
that's not a conspiracy. I mean, that's true. And then you take that truth, and then all of a sudden, it's about lizard people. So, no, it's not necessarily lizard people. It's people in power want to stay in power. That's a universal truth, whether they're lizard people or not. That's what you got to deal with. You have to deal with the truth. That's at the heart of it.
But you know what? But oh my God, you can take one look at the Queen, and sometimes you do think, maybe lizards are among us. But I'm just saying, I'm just making. I'm just kidding. I am just kidding, Elspeth. You're good. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's go and play Necessary Fear Event. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. There is some kind of ad in front of it. There we go. Now that was definitely interesting. It reminds me a lot of these like the soundtracks to the Twilight Zone and all that stuff.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
like the good 60s avant-garde, spooky shows. Where is he?
Actually, I was going more for like an X-Files vibe, not necessarily some, that kind of vibe. So yeah, same thing.
Yeah, but X-Files went directly from that too, so that was spawned out of that. So it's all the same family, I guess.
Yep, it's all the same show. They just put different characters in it.
What's the new one? Debris is that I'm
Yep.
watching right now is like that. So yeah, I'm a sci-fi girl. I actually like Debris a lot. So but it
Yeah, I
reminds
like it too.
it reminds me very much of X-Files as well. So yeah.
What was the show? The name escapes me, but between X-Files and Debris, there was one. It was about parallel universes and things. I think Anna Torv was in it.
Was
I don't
that
know, but
was that Sliders?
that's another one. That's
Yeah,
another. Yeah,
but
yeah.
then
Outer
there
Limits? No.
Warehouse 13. There's that one, but that was like with the artifacts, but they also were in parallel universes sometimes. Then there was the one with my God, what's his name? Oh, for the love of God. He played the bad guy who then turned good. Goran Vishnik. Time something. I don't remember. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, we get lost
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah, we're off.
We're off.
We went off in the woods.
Yeah, we're off in the woods somewhere. Okay, so the next one you brought us is A Beautiful Land of Shadows. Would you like to tell us about that one?
Yeah. So, not all of my songs are guitars or whatever. Like, so basically, A Beautiful Land of Shadows was a direct result of me just kind of being experimental. I got a piece of software called Voltage Modular. I have some actual physical modular hardware here that I don't actually use in my songs. I just play around with it. But there's a simulation, a modular simulation system called Voltage Modular. I'm sure some people have heard of it, where you can you wire up things and you make sounds and things like that. And that I have used in some of my songs, and I like to play around in it. And so what I did is I was in there just kind of playing around, and I just completely accidentally made a self-playing theremin, sound. The theremin is that high pitched woo sound kind of thing. So I accidentally made one of those, and I'm like, I like that sound. I'm going to put that in a song. So I just kind of stripped out the self-playing part of it.
Wait. Rewind. How do you actually you accidentally build one of those? Wait a minute.
Well, all this is software, so I'm not like
Right.
dealing with physical
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you just put
Yeah.
together some oscillators, and
Right.
I was trying to do something completely different. And to kind of back up further, one of the things that I work on that actually does appear in some of my music is I'm trying to do more generative stuff. This is songs that create themselves. You push a button and a song just kind of plays. I like to experiment with that. So I was trying to create something generative, right? So you push play and a melody comes out, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's looking for a sound to go with that. And I wasn't going for a theremin. I was going for actually something deeper and harder. But I kind of put the wrong thing in the wrong place, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a theremin. And
Okay. Yeah.
and that kind of brings up, and even in, I don't know if that was in Necessary Fear event, but in some of my songs, some of the musical elements are in fact generative, not like the whole song or anything, but I'll put together a melody, and then I'll do some manipulation, and the computer will manipulate that melody and turn it into something different. So sometimes you'll listen to one of my songs, and as the song goes through, the melody will change slightly as the song goes, and that might be something generative happening, where the computer's doing that on its own. So that's the kind of stuff that I do. Not in
So
all of my songs,
his
so that's what I was going for.
his computer is alive. It's alive.
Yeah.
Okay. My brother Michael just texted me and said Stargate SG1. By the way, love you, Michael. He said, "Is that the one you were
Hi,
looking
Michael.
for? Stargate SG1? Was that the one you were looking
I
for?"
think so. That's an awesome show. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. Michael wins. You found out what it was. Okay. So
Well,
let's go to Beautiful Land of Shadows.
yeah.
not for a minute until the ad disappears. Oh
I
my
don't
god.
those ads there, by the way. That's YouTube doing that.
Oh god. Yeah, let me just try to get rid of it. God help me. La 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 la, ad, go away, go away, go away. There we go. Okay, here we go. I really love this stuff. But then I'm like weird anyway, but this is like the stuff of my dreams, literally. Like my dreams look like these songs sound. Were you in my head?
So so yeah, here's an interesting what I thought at the time thing about that song that happened to me, an event that happened to me. And I mean, it's kind of trivial, but I thought it was funny when it happened. All musicians listen to their own stuff sometimes, right? Or even a lot of the time. So I'm riding around, coming back from somewhere. This was a few months ago, back when things were still fairly locked down as far as people not going places and stuff. So I was coming back from somewhere, riding through, just pulled into my subdivision, and no one was outside because it's early evening and because the pandemic. So no one was outside. It's not dark, but it's dusk. I'm riding, just pulling into the subdivision. This song is on, and it just spooked me out. I mean, it was creepy as shit because no one was outside. It's getting dark, and that song happened to come on as soon as I pulled in, and I'm like, "There's nobody here." The world could have ended, and I just didn't notice. I mean, because I'm seeing no one in the entire subdivision. No one's outside. There's no other cars. There's nothing going on, and that song's just playing. So I thought that
My
was.
gosh, I love your imagination and your and so
I mean, am I the only one here? What happened?
I do sometimes like sort of dream of a cataclysmic event that sort of wipes out 99% of humanity, and I always imagine like going through the streets and saying, "Yay, it's all mine, and nature shall reclaim all of this." And then I imagine myself going to some kind of shopping mall and getting everything, like
finding
whatever.
all the
Everything.
dogs you can,
Yeah.
all the dogs.
All the dogs. Someone's got to take care of the dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got all the dogs, all the cats. They're all allowed to run free. Nobody can tell them what to do anymore. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my God. Yeah. I am odd. All right. On the subject of odd that we have, as everybody knows, I made an NFT of iconDark here, and when he sent me his headshot, there was nothing else to say but that, because it just, with the glasses, he literally, I mean, it screamed Matrix. I couldn't, it just had to. So, what do they have to put in there what does the audience have to post to win this NFT?
I'm going to make it really easy. Um, so we should get a winner almost instantly here, probably. I want a GIF or GIF, whatever, that has an alien of the extraterrestrial variety, and a dog.
Okay, so the first two throw in an alien and a dog together, not back to back like it was the last time.
Yeah, they have to be
Together.
She got us on that.
Yeah.
Clever one.
Skull, an alien and a dog. No, not back to back.
Not.
Well, that is actually an alien dog. That sort of counts.
Eh,
Yeah,
I'm thinking two separate entities.
two separate entities. Okay, so a dog. Okay,
There we go.
junk feathers. Junk feathers. Okay, junk feathers got it. Alien and a dog. He got it. Skull almost got it, but
Yeah.
Yep.
junk.
Congratulations.
Okay, so junk feathers has it. Okay, let me write that down so I don't forget, because I have old lady brain. Okay, so the next song that you brought us today is, if I can see anything, the Tomb of Endorki. So
Yes, that was that. If I recall correctly, because I have old man brain, I think that was the Halloween 2020 song I did last year. Like obviously I do a song for Halloween every year. So I think that was the one I did for Halloween in 2020. And the story behind that it is really the story behind the title and the name in Doki in there. Little known fact, although if you follow me on Twitter, I do mention it occasionally. I used to write a lot. Short stories. I've written a couple of things that turned out to be novels. I didn't publish those. Well, actually, not traditionally. They were on our website, but this was 20, 25, 30 years ago. I wrote a lot. And so one of the and so mostly horror. Well, actually, most of it was fantasy, and then horror and science fiction. And so the the name Indoki, which is a name of one of my characters that I wrote. Now, so the word is an actual word. It's an African word. I forget exactly which nationality that is. But the word actually is essentially, and I'm not gonna hope I'm not butchering someone's heritage or whatever. Is basically like a wise man or someone who has insight into how the world works, that kind of thing. That's what Indoki means. And it's not necessarily evil or bad. It's just someone who knows what's what, right?
Right.
But the character I wrote was definitely evil. So, and that was his name and his title. So I was kind of based him on African mythology, and he was basically a necromancer raising the dead, that kind of thing. So that is not what the word actually means, but it's a reference to a character that that was his name and his title. So for Halloween, basically for maybe the one or two people who who are familiar with one or two people on the planet who are familiar with the stuff I used to write and also know that I make music. I just kind of threw that out there to see if anyone would notice. No one did. Would notice I am in fact the same guy that wrote those stories long time ago. So that's what I did. Basically, the song itself is one thing you know I don't do a lot of, but I do it occasionally. Is all of my songs are pretty much instrumentals, but sometimes I'll take snippets and samples of horror movies or public domain type show or sci-fi movies and put them together. And so that's what I did here. So I just took some samples of some public domain horror movies and kind of threw them together. Called it Tomb of the Indoki for Halloween 2020. And so let's give it a listen.
Absolutely. And when you're back on Hive, you should start republishing those short stories because I'll read them. I write myself and I love reading short stories of other people, especially, science fiction. So republish them on Hive. You should. And now we're going to go and raid the tomb of Endorki.
Yeah.
Coming after you tonight.
There is no escape. No one can help him.
He intends to kill somebody. Rob them of their body. Got to stop him.
You will be taken to the master.
The high priests of death, supreme devil god of evil. Evil.
They'll take you one by one and no one will hear you scream.
Things began to happen. And the people started bleeding out of control.
You will give me immortality. I shall live the powers of a god.
Oh my goodness, what do we do? What did I do now? All right, there's some kind of sad song going on that I didn't put on there. Oh my god, go away. Oh god, help me. YouTube does weird things. That was oh god.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, it's normal. People are normal. They know I'm chaos. Divine is chaos. We've had worse days where we both forgot everything and we were just going.
Oh, last week was bad.
Oh God, yeah.
So happy Halloween, I guess.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So, how did you get into electronic music?
I've always been into electronic music as a consumer. I uh, my cred as loving electronic music goes back to Beatbox by the Art of Noise and that kind of thing. So way back. Now, I have also always wanted to make music, sort of, but never seriously. I never, say I'm going to be a music. It's like, it would be cool if I learned how to play a guitar. It would be cool if I could make music, but that's, I never actually took it seriously until a few years ago when I started, making music. I've had several attempts. I bought software and samples and things at various points over the many years and tried to make music. Nothing ever actually clicked in my brain, but when a few years ago, I was like, maybe I'll, learn some music theory and see what happens. And yeah, it actually happened. So, but yeah, I've loved electronic music from the beginning of electronic music, pretty much.
Brilliant. All right, so we have one more, and actually we're really good on time. So why don't you dig up like one or two more of them? While I play. Oh God. Okay, here I go. Kaiju warning.
Kaiju.
Kaiju. Okay, kaiju. Okay, kaiju
Yeah.
warning.
Yeah. So maybe there are people out there who don't know what kaiju means, but it's Godzilla is a kaiju. It's giant monster, right?
Okay.
I don't know the exact translation of it because I think it's a Japanese word. I don't know the exact translation of it, but in English, to us, that word means giant monster, like Godzilla, like the
Okay.
movies that came out. Yeah, that's what that means. So what this is, and I've always loved those movies. The old Godzilla movies from way back when it was just a guy in a suit and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love those. So this is kind of a modern homage to the old school Godzilla type of movies. So it's like a kaiju warning. Godzilla's coming, hide, run, pray, whatever. It's about to happen. That's what that's what the song is
All
about.
right, kids. Godzilla is coming to get us. Here we go. If we get this going, come on. Boom. Godzilla was here.
Yeah.
That was
Let me
fun.
grab 'em.
That was fun.
And we're back.
And we're
I guess.
back.
Yeah, you're back.
So did you find me 2 more?
Yeah. So do you want me to just paste it in the audience?
Yeah, I'll take it from there. But
Okay.
do it one at a time, because people will be writing stuff and I'll have to scroll. So throw the first one in, and then when I need the second one, throw the second one in.
There's that one.
Okay, so we're gonna go and look at the heptagon. You want to tell us a bit about the heptagon before? Oh my God,
Yeah.
that thing is ugly.
What is that?
Yeah. Oh, you mean the
Yeah, Trump's.
the image?
Yeah, Trump's bowel movement or whatever that is.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that, and I
Yeah.
kind of thought about that when I did it. I don't actually make videos, but a lot of the times I will make like a visualization, and I'll go in the DAW, and there's a facility in the DAW that you can do little animations and things. So I threw that together, sort of based on almost on the album art that I did. But in hindsight, yeah, it does kind of look uh weird. But the song itself is another one of those instances like Tomb of the Endoki, where I took bits and pieces of dialogue from a horror movie. This one is a specific horror movie, and I forget the name of it. It's an anthology from the 70s, and it's like 3 stories, and one of them was the Heptagon, and it's about these 3 guys that are responsible for this person's death, and that person's mother happened to be a witch, so she cursed them. And the little snippet that I don't like don't put the whole movie's dialogue in there. It's just like one snippet of her placing the curse on them. One by land, 2 by sky, and so basically, one died in a car accident, and the other 2 died in a plane crash. That kind of thing. So I took that one line of her placing the curse on them, and just built a song around it because that sounds like fun.
All right, so here we go. We're cursing a generation right now.
There you go.
All right,
There you go.
Here we go. We're cursing you now. We're not.
One by land, 2 by sky. Up to the heptagon. It is here. One by land, 2 by sky. By sky, by sky. By land, 2 by sky. By sky, by sky. It is here.
we go again. I cannot control my hands today. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm twitching a bit today, so please bear with me. It's all right. I was pressing.
Don't say it.
Huh? I'm pressing buttons I shouldn't be pressing today. Oh yeah, my brother also threw another one in, Fringe as well, which we forgot.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I love that show.
Yeah.
That
Fringe
and
was cool.
it's basically
Yeah.
just X-Files.
Yeah,
and
it all is.
and Debris.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just the same show.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's cool. So there's that.
Yep. So I put another one in there. I think.
Where are
Hopefully
you?
that was the right spot.
Let me
Yeah.
see. March of the Mirrored Men. All right.
Yes. So this one now, I don't know if mirrored. Well, actually, this one also came from a podcast that I listened to. Again, I forget the name of it, and this was a paranormal, phenomenon podcast where people would call in and talk about their paranormal, encounters or whatever. And so this person, I'm talking about this podcast as if it were my podcast, but it's not. And so this person on the podcast noticed that there were several different types of phenomena that people would call in about constantly, and one of them was what he termed as the mirrored men. So that's not a common term, that's just the term that he used on his podcast. But what is essentially is people who would see two or three, sometimes more, identically dressed people, usually dressed in period inconsistent clothes, like old suits and things like that, and they're moving almost like clockwork. They're moving this identically, right? So one raises their hand, they all raise their hand, that kind of thing. And then it would almost always be followed by missing time. So people would see these things, or people walking around, and then suddenly it's 2 hours later and they don't know what happened, right? And so there would be multiple people who would call in to this podcast, talking about this type of phenomena, regardless of whether it's real or not. It's spooky as shit. I mean, you're yeah, you're seeing people, and over the time, and this could be something he made up entirely. I don't know, but over time, you get the idea that these mirrored men don't like to be noticed, even though they're very obvious. They don't like to be noticed, and so when you notice them, that's when like a couple of hours disappear out of your day, right? So
but anything that has to do with weird movement, because like you can bring me a demon and I'll look at it and say, "You're cute. I'm gonna keep you." You bring me the girl from Ring, and you will watch me run. You will watch me run.
That is what's creepy about it.
Yeah,
they're moving strangely.
Yeah,
they're all moving the same, and it's weird. Anyway, so I thought that was cool. So I tried to encapsulate that in a song with kind of a clockwork vibe a bit, and that kind of thing. So. Yeah, give it a listen.
All right. I hope we're not conjuring them now. Stay away from me, whatever you are, mirrored men. I don't need you in my life.
The Ring girl. Oh my gosh.
Very cool. Very cool. Very spooky, very
There we
cool.
go. Yeah.
Yes. So it was an absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
And definitely come back
Thank
again.
you. Yeah, definitely.
Certainly will.
And start posting on Hive again so that we can support your posts and whatnot, because it really does, like the more good people we have on Hive, the more we bring back, the old feel, and it's starting to rejuvenate again, and I really like it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would love to read your science fiction and your short
Absolutely.
stories. So
Yeah.
it's really
Now that I
nice.
remember that I have an account there, I'll start posting on there.
Absolutely. By the way, I am giving away one more NFT today, the Hiveopus. So, the Hiveopus is, promotes the Hive blockchain. So, the first person, and sadly, iconDark, unless I throw you back into the audience, you can't win it. I could actually give you a
Join
chance.
us next week to our 20th show here on MSP Waves.
We're 20th already? Oh, wow. Yep. Okay. So let's
have like a lot of things to give away, and yeah.
Absolutely. So, iconDark, thank you. We're going to throw you back. Yeah, it's okay. We're going to throw you back in the audience. Well, Divine just did, so that you have a chance to win the Hiveopus. So the first person who posts an octopus that is holding an object, any kind of object, will win the Hiveopus. So you go for that. And Music for Life is one of the iconDark was asking, what is Music for Life? Music for Life, Hive has communities, and if you sign up to those communities, you have a drop down menu when you do your posts, and you can actually post to the community itself, and that just brings you extra tokens, and some of those tokens really bring you a lot of stuff. That it's not holding an object. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Up there first.
But exposure brings you exposure, and exposure.
No. I was
Music for Life is specifically for musicians. You
don't
have to scroll through other things.
And it has coins
it's still
too.
On the Hive.
Yeah, it has coins.
Still on the Hive blockchain.
I was talking about the holding an object, about the octopus, but Skull wins the octopus. So we have that. We still have like about 15 minutes time, so I'm thinking if anyone wants to put in their music, we can play something of yours.
Raven, Scarl, come on.
Yep.
Right, you posted something, but that's 42 minutes long. It's his. He said he put out a new instrumental, and hey, we would love to have you on the show sometime.
Who has an instrumental that is 42 minutes long? Who? What did I miss? Who did?
Frank.
Oh, okay. 42 minutes long. Then we would have to do special for that one. Yeah. Okay. So SoundCloud's fine. YouTube's fine. Okay. You've got fast fingers. It's the album 13 tracks. Oh, okay, it's 13 tracks. So then
awesome.
Okay.
Please come on the show and bring the whole album. Or bring a few tracks of your album. We'd like to help you promote it.
Yeah, and throw a single in right now.
Yeah,
you can throw a single in right now. We still have 15 minutes time, so go for it. Okay, we're going to go with Skyline for now, and Raven has one. So let's see, we're going to do Skyline first, and while I do that, Divine, you check how long the other songs are so that we make it in time and don't, not say goodbye or whatnot. So let's go with Skyline Tigers, Climbing Up the Walls. Okay. La la la, la la la, will you go? Woohoo! Listen to that one.
Wow.
That was
I love
amazing.
Skyline.
I love Skyline too. She's awesome. So, did you check on the two songs that we have? Do you know how long they're going to be? By any
No,
chance?
I did not.
Okay.
It's out.
I just want to make sure that we.
It's so captivating.
Yeah. It's alright. I just don't want to. I don't want to like go around and
Like,
not.
yeah.
So, because I want to get Frank in because he's new, but you know, we also have Panda Beats, so we need to shove them both in 8 minutes. We have 8 minutes. Is it going to work? Are we going to be?
Let me see. Okay, it's 2 minutes from Panda Beats.
Okay, so we're going that,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
okay, so then we're gonna go out with Frank. So we're gonna go Panda Beats right quick, and then we're gonna go out with Frank. All right, here we go. Panda Beats, or not? Good. I really like that one, Raven. That's a good one. I really like that one very much.
Yeah, it is. And we do miss you when you're not here, Foxy.
No, we miss everyone when they're not here.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Did
Don't-
you check on
don't
how
feel
much?
left out.
Did you check on how many minutes Frank's is, so that we don't talk and then there's nothing left over? Did you? No, you didn't.
Did it? 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, so we have like 2 minutes more to talk, and then we have to get out of here. All right. So next week we have.
Very excited. We've got 2 new guests, and we have like the Stick Up Boys, which will be in talking about their charity they have for like children. So they're going to be around, and we're going to have a friend of yours coming in, Lo-Fi Freak, a friend of mine.
Yes.
I'm very excited to bring him on. He joined Hive as well.
Endemis
We're
is
gonna
my
show
friend.
this-
She's
yeah.
Endemis.
Lo-Fi Freak is mine.
Yeah, and Endemis is going to show us. She makes clothing and objects for Second Life and Open Sim, so she's going to show us some of that.
Yeah.
3
Lo-Fi Freak does music, lo-fi music, a lot of analog stuff, analog music, and he does glitch art. So I'm very excited about that. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's fine. He's going to bring. I hope he's going to bring both music and art.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Bring. Awesome. Okay, so we'll coordinate that. Please come back next week. We love you all. Stay chaotic, and live your life to the fullest. And we're going out with Dark Razor by Frank White. Bye.
Bye.